California, get us started here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
Hey, Mad Dog. How are you, buddy?
All right, Mike. Thank you. What's up now?
So I have a question for you, Chris. And again, I understand your premise as far as why you would not vote like Bonds in or Clemens. But at that time, in the mid-'90s, early '90s, late '90s, where in the rule book did it say that they could not use PEDs?
Oh, everybody knew. First off, the idea that Bonds and Clemens did not break any rule and they were so, well, if that's the case, why doesn't Bonds use that as his own? Why doesn't Bonds use that as his own defense? Why doesn't Bonds come out and say, you know what, I did steroids because there was no rules against it? So why do you have to play that card, Mike? Why don't you let Bonds and Clemens play that card? And Sosa saying, you know what, I didn't break any rules. Nobody said we couldn't do steroids. Why don't you tell them that?
They did. It's the question. Okay, so let me ask you this. If we go to the Football Hall of Fame, all those Steelers that are in the Hall of Fame, all the ones that used steroids back in the 70s, should those guys be kicked out of the Hall of Fame?
Well, it's not all of them. Mike Webster, Mike Webster is the guy that you're referring to. I don't think John Stallworth did steroids, but
a ton of them did steroids back then, and you know they did, and I know they did.
Well, I you know what? I think it's a little different because you're not setting records. If you're a center, Bonds set records, and there was no need for Bonds to do steroids. He said, and again, the other issue that bothers me: if Bonds and Clemens and all these guys did not break any rules, why don't they come out and tell us, "Hey guys, yeah, I did steroids. Where was the rule that said I couldn't?" There was no rules. I was allowed to do anything I wanted. Where is there a baseball rule that said I couldn't do steroids? It's a bunch of nonsense. Bottom line is, why didn't everybody do steroids then? Why didn't Derek Jeter do the steroids? Why didn't Bernie Williams do the steroids? Why didn't David Cole do steroids? Why didn't everybody else do steroids? If they didn't break any rules, then why didn't Shipper do steroids? He got beat by Bonds. So I can't listen to that. Well, they ain't breaking any law. Oh, nonsense. Let them make that argument, not you. Let me have Roger Clemens, who went to court to say he didn't do steroids, have Clemens come out and say, what rule did I break? I didn't break any rules. I did steroids. I started in '98. There was no rules against it. Do that. See what that does for him. Huck in Missouri is on Mad Dog Unleashed. Huck, good afternoon. How are you today?
Doing pretty good, Chris. I'll tell you what, pal, I am shocked at the number of people that are sticking up for Bonds and Clemens and the steroid users. It shocks me. When those guys were taking those steroids, they could care less about the Hall of Fame. Didn't even cross their mind whether or not all they cared about was trying to one-up, another player. They didn't use them steroids because they wanted to get better to help the team. They done them because they wanted to be on Sports Center every night. I think Clemens done them because he wanted to end up with more Cy Youngs and wins than Maddox. I think Bonds done it because he wanted to one-up McGuire and Sosa. Completely selfish. Those guys cared nothing for the Hall of Fame, and now that their career's over and nobody remember them, now they want us to feel sorry for them and put them in the Hall of Fame. It's a joke. I can't imagine anybody wanting to put a cheater, somebody that just completely cheated the game, in the Hall of Fame. I don't get it.
Well, again, they had an unfair advantage. Bottom line is the both of them, and they're not the only two, I get it, but the folks who use steroids, and in this case we're going to center on the two Hall of Famers, they had an unfair advantage against players who did not do steroids. And they artificially were enhanced. That is not fair. And that should not put you in the Hall of Fame. It's really as simple as that. Mike in Yonkers, and he's aboard. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hey, Dog, what's up?
Michael, nice to talk to you. What's on your mind today?
Yeah, Dog, the Hall of Fame doesn't mean to me what it used to mean to me. I feel it's watered down. I feel there's people that are a lot of people are in there that shouldn't be in there, and there's people that aren't in there that should be in there, and it's just that a lot of it is sports writers, like Jeff Kent. I think Jeff Kent should be in the Hall of Fame, but he was a mean guy. People didn't like him, and I guarantee you sports writers didn't like him, and they hold that against him.
I think there's a slight percentage that he does not get votes because he was not an angel. I agree with that, 100%.
Jim Rice was the same way. He didn't get in until his last year on the ballot, and then this is the same thing with Jeff Kent. It's a subjective thing. It's not an objective thing, and to me, the Hall of Fame just lost its luster, in the last few years.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. The Hall of Fame is not as special as it once was. I think it's a variety of reasons. I don't think it's all because, of Bonds and Clemens. You get a little older, you get a little more, suspicious, you get more cynical. When you're younger, it means a little more. I think there's a lot of reasons, and we're getting older, Mike, not younger. There's a lot of reasons why the Hall of Fame has fallen off its panache, its cliff, its perch, no question. Here's Jacob Wilkins. He's got a sports bite. Mad Dog Unleashed.
Mad Dog Sports Radio.